Okay guys, we are back. In this video, let us look at one another example, a different type of simplifying a trig identity. We already covered four types, four examples. This is going to be number 5, and then I will show you 2 more. Guys, I'm trying to select these problems which are like different types, which are different from each other, so that you can see the thought processes and how we simplify these things. Okay, but guys, don't make a big deal out of this. This is still like simplifying algebraic expressions. If you can simplify algebraic expressions, you can definitely simplify trig identities as well. Okay, so number 5, I have 4 tangent x secant x, and then I have plus 2 secant x divided by 6 tangent x secant x plus 2 secant x. Okay guys, the challenge level, I think I should use another marker as well. So the challenge level is kind of increasing as we move on from number 1 to number 5 now. So let's see how we can simplify this. Guys, first thing first, we don't want to right away use the basic given identities in our formula sheets or the things that we already know. First, we try to use the algebraic techniques. Here, again, we cannot cross out these expressions. We cannot cross out anything, right? Because there's a plus here, there's a plus here. You cannot just simply cross out the quantities. So if we cannot cross out anything from upstairs and downstairs, then one has to think in terms of factors. Can we factor numerator or denominator or just one of them? Let's go back and look at each piece and see if we can factor anything. When I look at the numerator, I can see that there's a secant x here, there's a secant x here, and there's a 2 and 4. So by looking at both of these terms and comparing them, we can see that there's a greatest common factor, and the greatest common factor is going to be 2 secant x. And if you can find a greatest common factor, we should take it outside, and then we'll have factors. Okay, so we have 2 secant x outside. Then we have to carefully see what is left inside the parentheses here. Okay, guys, we already have 2 secant x outside. What do I multiply to 2 to get 4? Obviously, we multiply a 2. Then I still need a tan x. I still have to have a tan x, right? Then secant x, it's already here. Then what should I multiply to 2 secant x to get 2 secant x back? What should I multiply a quantity to get the same quantity back? Obviously, it's going to be just 1, right? So there's going to be a plus 1 here. So what we did upstairs, that is the exact same thing that we are going to do to the downstairs. Why? Because we can see that there's a 6 here, there's a 2 here, there's a common factor right there, and then there's a secant x and secant x, which occurs in both the terms in the denominator as well. So we can again take out 2 secant x, and now inside the parentheses, let's see what we are left with. 2 times what gives me 6? Obviously, 2 times 3 gives me 6, which is not too difficult for us to figure out. And then I already have my secant x, and all I need is a tangent x. And then the same thing again, 2 secant x times what gives me 2 secant x back? It's just plus 1. Okay, guys, we did not even use any identities. What we simply did was we realized that we can factor the greatest common factor. We can find the greatest common factor from the numerator. We can also find the greatest common factor from the denominator, and that is what we did. We basically factored both the numerator and the denominator. Once we do that, now we can try and see if we can simplify some things. We can cross out some things. Obviously, these are multiplied, so we can now cross these out because they are the exact same. And now I'm left with 2 tangent x plus 1 over 3 tangent x plus 1. And that would be my simplified form. I mean, if you want to convert this into sine and cosine, one can do that, but you don't really have to do it. You can just leave it like this. Okay, unless you have a right-hand side which is in terms of sine and cosine, then one has to replace this tan by sine and cosine and then simplify. Okay, guys, please be careful. Don't cross out this 1 and 1. We cannot just simply cross these out. They are not multiplied. There's an addition, there's an addition. We cannot just simply cross that out. We have to follow the basic fundamental rules of mathematics. So that is the best we can do for this example. This is number 5. 2 more to go, and then we'll go into the sum and difference.